Not gonna get up there. Look, his tail's all tucked in.
Get over here.
Come on.
Up.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Come on. Get up.
Come on.
Come here.
Come on.
Get up with Dad. Come on. Get with Dad. Come on. All right. Get over here.
All right.
All right. That's a lot of cut.
Poor Trigger. The table's cold. His little butt shaking.
Well, here we are on our journey number 2. The last time we went north, and it took us a couple days to get out of Texas. And this trip, we are going east, and it'll be today mostly driving.
Are we going west?
I guess we're going west. We're going west, and instead of the last trip, we cut the northeast corner of New Mexico after Texas, and then into Colorado and Montana and Wyoming. This trip will be going through southern New Mexico and spending probably, 90% of the trip or so in Arizona. Southern Arizona for the most part. So this dog is actually, Trigger is shaking.
We made him get up on this cold metal picnic table.
Anyway, we
shade.
don't normally make a whole lot of stops, but we found something pretty cool here, and we thought we'd check it out. It's Presidio San Saba, and it was built in 1757. And I'll talk a little bit more about it as we go through it, and maybe I'll get the drone up. So anyway,
I like the brochures.
Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this trip, where it's another 30-day trip. And
It's day one.
Day one. All right. All right, so it's a little bit backlit, but this is the Presidio de San Saba, which, Carol, what was it originally called?
Oh, the Presidio de las Amarillas.
Yes. And it was constructed in 1757, originally in wood, and then, 4 years later, they made it stone? Mm-hmm. It's kind of an interesting history we'll talk about a little bit later. So let's move in and check it out. All right, so we're coming up to the gates here, or the, entrance. And the mission's purpose, Presidio's purpose, was partially to protect the mission that they built downriver about a mile or two. But before they even got the fort built, the Comanches had burnt down the mission building. So I think they probably reconstructed it. But kind of an interesting situation. All right, so here at the Presidio, I wonder if I can do this. Film 2 ways at once. So, yeah, Carol was just making the comment that apparently, this is kind of a reconstruction. And,
It's kind of a weird squirrel.
Is it?
There's 2 of them.
There's a couple squirrels up there. Anyway, a lot of the original rock was taken to build the courthouse and such. So, anyway, it's kind of cool. Okay. Well, I think I will cut off. It was kind of interesting, though, is they did abandon. This was it was built by financed by the Spanish crown, built by the Spanish to protect their territory here. And what happened is they found out that the Plains Indians, the Comanche, were really skilled warriors when they were riding the Spanish horses and using French weapons, guns, that they were a far superior force than the Spanish battalions. And they quickly realized that was not a good thing. So they moved on down the road and went back along the Rio Grande to set up their protective areas. Anyway, I can't get through here, so let's go ahead and walk around. Yeah, A lot of times we've come out this way on trips, and we've seen this fort, but then we realized as we were driving up here, this isn't the fort we usually see, so we're not really sure what it is, but anyway, it's kind of cool. We're at this one. Okay, so this is the little castle rotunda-y looking thing that we saw in the end walking up. I'm going to go inside there. Coming in here to the rock wall area. I'd assume that there must have been at least some kind of a deck, I guess, where soldiers could have stood up and fired off the top. And then you have the gun holes here as well in the wall. See, this is looking out at the entrance. Kind of cool. All right, well, I should mention also that we do have a couple of new cameras for this trip, and I think that's going to help a lot. This particular one I'm using right now, I'll be using mostly for walking and talking. It's a nice small camera, hold it in my hand, don't need a selfie stick, and a little easier than using the camera. I think we have a squirrel that's upset over there. And, or using the phone, I should say, not the camera. And then we got a better camera for kind of like the more long-range telephoto type stuff. Shoot mostly with the phone, but every once in a while you need a little bit stronger camera or whatever. And so it's a big 1-inch or a full-size sensor, 1-inch sensor. I don't know. Anyway, it's big and should do a lot better. And may use it for wraps too. We don't know yet. Anyway, let me show you a little more of the fort. Okay, we're looking back towards the gate. Not a whole lot of stuff around here. Cool. 1757, the Spanish crown protecting their lands. All right. So I think we will probably hit the road. So we left at Presidio San Saba. We have about 5.5, 6 hours of driving today. And I mentioned we had some new cameras. Now the road camera is the same, and it does have some issues, but we did get a couple of microphones for in the car to hopefully help with the sound.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. You can see some of the road here in West Texas yet? I don't know if we're considered West Texas. We're about, what are we at? We're about 140 miles. I guess we're probably entering West Texas now. Although we still have another about 300 miles to get out of Texas to the west. So we did move the camera too. So some things are better and some things are a little harder to see, I think. So it's a little more centered and down a little bit. And hopefully it can rotate a little bit better to the right. Although our whole idea with the camera I talked about talking when I'm walking with is that I can use that very easily, pick it up when we're in a city or something and shoot it out the side window, and Carol can use her camera to do that. Just give you guys a little bit better view when we're going through a town or something and we want to show you what's going on. So with that, I got a little road view, and we'll see you a little later. All right, I thought I'd turn this on. We're coming into the town of El Dorado, Texas. Don't think it's the El Dorado from the movie, though. And our gas light came on. I was trying to keep a full tank, and I wasn't watching it. So we're looking for gas. All right, looks like I can go around the other side and get into a pump.
This must be the gas station in town.
Well, I turned the camera on because one of the things I want to mention that we run into a lot here in Texas, you go into a little gas station.
And you can't get out without a burrito.
Well, you know what? It's taking me right back to where we just were. This phone thing, well, hey, maybe you get to see a little bit of
El Dorado.
El Dorado here. Big, sprawling downtown El Dorado. Not being negative, but, you know. Okay, so it's telling me to turn here. And then wants me to go south? Or... I don't know what it's doing. Where's the one? It's giving me two choices. Oh, it says I have to turn this way. Does that make sense to you?
No.
Yeah. Anyway, you find these little gas stations, and you go in, and they've got these incredible, like, Mexican kitchens. And with this food, and it's like, why did I stop at McDonald's to eat? That's an interesting trailer. Anyway, I just thought I'd just comment on that because it's kind of interesting. Well, I thought I'd turn the camera on because we're sort of in the middle of the Permian Basin. Past a lot of gas pumpers, and you can see the wind turbines up there. It is usually pretty windy out here. Seems like every time we come by, it's always a headwind and uphill. But anyway, yeah, just thought I'd run the camera a little bit through here in case you've never seen the Permian Basin. We may find some other places. We're less than 100 miles from our date destination. The wind has picked up. Unfortunately, I think right now it's at our back.
Yeah, we just came through Iran, which is spelled Iraan.
Second A's for America.
Iran.
It is kind of funny because that's Iran, which is almost like Iran. And then when we do our trip, like in the fall, when we came back, we went through Sudan. Who knows?
Yep. And we're on our way up 305 to McCamey, and then to Crane, and then all sorts of little back roads up to our destination. So it looks a lot like this most of the way.
Remember what I said on the first series about all sand and sagebrush? Well, you're getting sand and sagebrush now.
Yep.
Coming into Monahans Sandhills State Park. All right, so we're here at Monahans Sand Dunes, or Sandhills State Park. And I am using mics this time. Gonna try to use them all the time. Keep the wind off, keep the sound good. So you can all enjoy this a lot better than otherwise. We're just taking a walk out here into the sand dunes. Kind of see there's Carol and Trigger. but I'm not sure. Hopefully this video is going to be bright enough with the bright sand dunes behind me. Huh?
It's filtered.
Filtered light.
Filtered light. It's got a photograph.
So,
Come here, Trigger.
see you up in the dunes. Here's a little view of the campground here. We're actually hidden behind those hills behind the campers. A little more secluded. We have camped on this side before, not necessarily on purpose. Not the greatest light for sand dunes. That's a cool little area. There's Chigger chasing sticks. These sand dunes are kind of interesting in their own way. It's not as expansive as like places like Death Valley and such. I mean, you're pretty much limited here to a pretty small area that's open sand dunes like this. Most of it's scrub covered and it is windy, so I'm going to turn a little away from the wind just in case the mic's not performing as well. But it's a pretty place here. Very nice. It's worth coming to. But tomorrow night we also have a campground, but it's one that we haven't been to before. We could have boondocked tomorrow night, but we wanted to check out this campground in New Mexico, and so you'll see that tomorrow. This is our campsite. When we got here, we were the only ones over here, but now all the spots are full. So here we are at the end of day one. Thought it'd be all overcast, but it's turned out pretty nice.